The night I was supposed to propose, my girlfriend was sleeping at her ex's apartment. She said she was saving a life. What she actually did was teach me the most expensive and valuable lesson I have ever learned. He told her he needed her that night. That was what she said to me when she finally came home. Like that sentence alone should explain everything. "You would understand if you trusted me," she said, standing there like she had rehearsed it. It was our anniversary. She had spent the night at her ex-boyfriend's apartment. I did not argue. I did not ask questions. I did not raise my voice. I stood up, walked into the bedroom, and started packing my clothes. While pulling things out of the drawer, I found the ring box. I had hidden it weeks earlier, waiting for the right moment. I stared at it for a second, then slipped it into my pocket. She was watching me from the doorway. When she saw the box, all the color drained from her face. I walked past her without saying a word and left the apartment. It was 8 ante-meridiem on a Saturday when she finally came back. My girlfriend of 3 years, Emily, walked through the front door like nothing was really wrong. She looked worn out, but not in the way someone looks after saving a life or pulling an all-nighter at work. She looked like someone who had stayed up late drinking cheap wine and reliving old memories. She dropped her keys on the table by the door. The sound cracked through the apartment like a gunshot. I was sitting on the couch, still wearing the same button-down shirt and slacks from the night before. I had not slept. "Oh, you're awake," she said, kicking off her boots. She rubbed her temples like she had a headache, like she was hoping I would feel sorry for her. "What a nightmare," she added. "I am exhausted." She walked toward the kitchen, expecting me to follow her. Expecting me to ask if she was okay. Expecting me to act like nothing happened. When I stayed where I was, she stopped and turned around. That was when she really looked at me. She saw the shirt. She saw the unlit candles still sitting on the dining table behind me. She saw the unopened bottle of vintage Cabernet, a $200 bottle, sitting next to 2 clean wine glasses that had never been touched. "Mike, please," she said, already annoyed. "Do not do this. Do not start." "Start what?" I asked. My voice surprised even me. It was calm. Flat. Almost empty. "This whole silent thing," she said. "Ryan was in a really bad place, okay? He was spiraling." She crossed her arms like she was building a case. "He called me in a panic. If I had not gone over there, I honestly do not know what he might have done." "Ryan." She said his name like it was supposed to end the conversation. Her ex was the kind of man she always described like a wounded animal. The one she said needed help. The one she said she could not abandon. She dated him for 2 unstable years before she met me, and somehow he never stopped being her problem. His name was Ryan. Ryan was 24 years old when he told people he was going to make it big as a disc jockey. 5 years later, he was still saying the same thing, still living the same way, still calling her when his life fell apart again. For 3 years, I had been the opposite of him. I worked a real job as an engineer. I paid the rent on time. I handled the bills. I booked the flights. I planned the vacations. I fixed the broken things around the apartment because someone had to keep life moving forward. Ryan was the emergency contact. Ryan was the late-night phone call. Ryan was the excuse. "It was our 3rd anniversary," I said quietly. "We had reservations at Le Bernardin. I made that reservation 4 months ago." She sighed like I was exhausting her. "I know that," she said. "And I feel bad about missing dinner. I do." But this was serious, Mike. He was talking about killing himself. She crossed her arms and tilted her head, like she was waiting for me to admit she was right. What kind of person ignores something like that just to go eat dinner? That was the moment she flipped it on me. Suddenly, I was the selfish one. "So he was suicidal?" I asked. "Yes," she said immediately. "He was completely losing it." "Then did you call 911? She stopped talking. "What?" she said. "If he was actually in danger." I said. You should have called emergency services. That is what trained professionals are for. I waited. Did you call them? No, she snapped. I was not calling the police on him. He did not need that. He just needed someone there. He needed company, I said. I stood up and walked closer to her. That was when the smell reached me. It was not the clean smell of a hospital. Not disinfectant. Not anything medical. It was old vape smoke. Warm beer. And that heavy, woody cologne Ryan always wore. Santal 33. You smell like a bar, I said. Her cheeks turned red. After he calmed down, she said carefully, we had a drink. Just one. To relax? She looked away. We watched a movie and fell asleep on the couch. Nothing happened. You skipped our anniversary to drink with your ex-boyfriend, I said. He needed me, she yelled. Her voice broke halfway through the sentence. Why are you acting so insecure? She shook her head. You cannot stand that I care about other people. If you trusted me, you would understand. That sentence landed like a final door slamming shut. If you trusted me. I studied her face. The smeared makeup. The tight jaw. The way she stood like she was defending a decision she had already justified to herself. She was not apologetic. She was offended that I was upset. She believed she deserved my patience, my stability, my money, and my silence while she stayed emotionally tangled with her past. She wanted safety from me and excitement from him. I turned around and walked into the bedroom. Mike? She called. Where are you going? Do not walk away from me. She followed me as I pulled the suitcase down from the closet shelf and dropped it on the bed. You are unbelievable. She laughed. You are seriously packing because I helped someone? You are being ridiculous. I opened the dresser and pulled out the sock drawer. Stop, she said. Talk to me. I reached under the thick hiking socks in the back. My fingers hit velvet. I pulled out the box. It was dark blue and small. Inside was a platinum ring with a 1.5-carat diamond. I saved for 6 months. I drove 2 hours to a jeweler who knew exactly how I wanted the stone cut. I planned to propose the night before. I turned to face her. She had been ready to argue. Ready to scold me. Then she saw the ring. Her mouth stayed open, but no sound came out. Her eyes widened, and all the color drained from her face. Her hands fell to her sides. The attitude vanished. The confidence collapsed. She looked at the ring. She looked at the suitcase. Then she looked at me. Mike, she whispered. The word barely came out of her mouth. It sounded stuck in her throat. Is that where you? I did not answer her. I did not open the box. I was not about to show her the ring she had already thrown away with her choices. She did not deserve to see it shine. I slid the box into my pocket and turned back to the bed. I grabbed enough clothes for a few days, my laptop, and my toiletries. I packed fast and without hesitation. I zipped the suitcase closed. No, she said. Then again. No. No. She rushed into the room, her voice breaking apart. She reached for my arm. Mike, wait. You were going to propose? Last night? I stepped sideways and avoided her hand. I grabbed the suitcase handle. Please, she said. Stop. Let's talk about this. She moved in front of the door now. Her breathing was shallow. Tears filled her eyes immediately. These were real tears. Not the kind she used to win arguments. These were panic tears. Fear of lost tears. I did not know, she said. If I had known, I would not have answered the phone. I would have told Ryan to leave me alone. I stopped walking. Just for a moment. I looked straight at her. That is the problem, I said quietly. You should not need a ring to know when to choose your partner. I stepped around her. She lunged for the suitcase, her fingernails scraping across the fabric, but I pulled it free. I walked down the hallway. I could hear her footsteps behind me. "You cannot just leave," she said. "We live together." "Mike," she said again. "I love you." I opened the front door. "Mike!" she screamed. It was raw and loud enough that it probably woke the neighbors. I stepped outside, closed the door softly, and listened as the lock clicked shut. Then I walked down the stairs, got into my car, and drove away. I did not turn on the radio. I drove in silence. And for the first time in years, I felt lighter. The next 48 hours were a crash course in digital harassment. I checked into a plain, mid-range hotel about 20 minutes from my office. Nothing fancy. Clean. Quiet. I sat on the stiff bed and watched my phone vibrate across the nightstand, inching closer to the edge like it wanted to throw itself off. Emily. 12 missed calls. Emily. 14 text messages. The messages followed a pattern so obvious it was almost scientific. First came denial and bargaining. "Please pick up. My hands are shaking. I cannot breathe. You are scaring me. I blocked Ryan. I threw away his stuff. I will prove it. Come home. We can fix this. Couples have problems. We do not throw away 3 years over one misunderstanding." Then came anger. "You are acting like a child. So you are just disappearing on me? After everything I did for you? That is cowardly. You never loved me if you can walk away this easily. You were looking for an excuse." By Sunday afternoon, she sent in reinforcements. Her best friend, Amanda, called me nonstop. A woman who had cheated on 2 husbands and still gave relationship advice like it was a profession. I answered once. Only because I needed to know if Emily was about to destroy the apartment. "Mike, you need to stop this dramatic punishment," Amanda snapped before I could say hello. Her voice was sharp and loud through the phone. "She is on the floor," she said. "On the floor, crying. You cannot wave an engagement ring in her face and then abandon her. That is emotional abuse." I sat by the hotel window, watching cars crawl along the interstate. I felt disconnected, like I was watching someone else's life play out. "I did not waive anything," I said calmly. "I packed it. It is mine," I added. "Just like the rent she will need to cover next month." "You are cold," Amanda said. "She made a mistake. She was trying to be a good person." "Amanda," I said quietly, cutting her off. "She did not come home smelling like a hospital or fear. She came home smelling like his cologne and old beer. She did not save a life. She went on a date." I said it once, calmly, and that ended the conversation. "Tell Emily she has until the end of the month to deal with the lease. I will pay my half until then. After that, she is on her own." Then I hung up. I blocked Amanda's number. I blocked Emily's sister. I muted every shared friend we had. I went to work on Monday feeling hollow. I did my job like a machine. I stared at spreadsheets. I calculated loads and tolerances. I let numbers fill my head until there was no room left for anger. There is something comforting about math when someone betrays you. Numbers do not twist reality. Numbers do not rewrite history. 2 plus 2 never calls an X at midnight because it feels confused. By Wednesday, my silence started to get to her. The messages stopped being hostile and turned desperate. "I miss you. The apartment is so quiet. I found your gray hoodie. It smells like you. I am sleeping in it." I did not respond. I did not feel any pull to respond. The image of her face when she saw the ring box was burned into my mind. That look told me everything I needed to know. She understood exactly what she had lost. Anything I said after that would only weaken the lesson. About 3 weeks later, I went back to the apartment to get the rest of my belongings. I planned it for a Tuesday morning, when I knew she would be stuck in a long team meeting. The place looked destroyed. Empty takeout boxes covered the coffee table. Dirty clothes were piled on the couch. The apartment felt heavy and neglected. It looked exactly like her life had become. I packed my books, my espresso machine, the rest of my clothes. As I was loading the last box into my car, my neighbor, Mrs. Gable, walked past with her pug. Mrs. Gable knew everything that happened on that block. "Mike," she said, waving and shuffling closer. "I have not seen you lately. Everything okay? Emily has had company quite a bit." I paused. "I moved out," I said. "We broke up." She nodded like she already knew. "I thought so," she said quietly. "That young man with the loud car keeps parking in your spot. Plays music all hours of the night. Ryan." Of course. Not even a full month, and he had already settled in. I felt sick for half a second. Then I felt free. "Feel free to complain," I said, smiling. "I am off the lease as of the 1st. It is not my spot anymore." I learned the rest over the next few months without trying to. That is how it goes. Someone drinks too much. Someone talks. Once I was gone, Emily tried to turn Ryan into me. She leaned on him for emotional support. Then for money. Then for stability. She believed their connection had only failed because of my presence. She thought now they could finally build something real. Reality hit hard. Ryan did not want a girlfriend. He wanted an audience. He did not want to split rent. He wanted a couch. Within 2 months, she had loaned him $3,000 for new disc jockey equipment. He filled the apartment with his friends. Turned it into a crash pad. A place that used to feel safe became loud and dirty. When she asked him to help clean or contribute, he fed her the same line he had always used. "You are killing my creativity." The same excuse. The same chaos. Just a different person paying the price. "You are acting just like my mother." She threw that line at him when he asked her to respect basic boundaries. The irony was almost impressive. It was so thick you could choke on it. The real ending came around month 4. I was out grabbing drinks with my buddy Dave, who still followed Emily on social media for reasons I did not care to understand. He slid his phone across the table. "Man," he said, "you need to see this." It was an Instagram story Emily had posted. No pictures. Just white text on a black background. The universal sign of an emotional breakdown. It is wild how you can destroy the best thing that ever happened to you for someone who treats you like an option. Lesson learned. I took a slow drink of my beer. "So," I said, "she finally dumped Ryan?" Dave grinned. "Better. She caught him cheating." I raised an eyebrow. "With who?" "A 19-year-old club promoter. Met her at a show. Emily came home early and walked in on it." I laughed. It slipped out before I could stop it. Short. Sharp. Honest. Dave watched me carefully. "She has been asking about you. She knows I am seeing you tonight. Wanted to know if you were dating anyone." I thought about the woman I met at the climbing gym a few weeks earlier. Her name was Lauren. She was a pediatric nurse. Calm. Funny. Direct. We had been out 3 times. No chaos. No emotional landmines. No exes haunting the background. Just ease. "Tell her I am doing great," I said. Then I added, "And tell her I sold the ring." Dave's eyebrows shot up. "You sold it?" "Last week." "What did you do with the money?" I smiled and waved the waitress over for the check. "I bought that vintage Ducati I have been talking about for 5 years," I said. Dave laughed. "She hated motorcycles. She said they were dangerous," I replied, standing up and grabbing my jacket. I paused for half a second. "Turns out," I said, "she was the dangerous one." 6 months went by. If you have never rebuilt your life from nothing, it is hard to explain how addictive it becomes. The first month is brutal. The second month is exhausting. By the third month, you realize how much weight you were carrying that was never yours. I was not just free of Emily. I was free of the anxiety she dressed up as passion. Free of managing her moods. free of constant emergencies that were never real emergencies. I poured my energy into the things I had ignored. I worked harder but smarter. That paid off. I got promoted to senior project manager, along with a serious raise. I took the Ducati up the coast on weekends, letting the wind strip away the last bits of old anger. And I started seeing Lauren for real. It was different. Quiet. When she had a bad day at the hospital, she talked about it. She did not disappear. She did not explode. We ordered Thai food. We watched terrible science fiction movies. No tests. No games. Just two adults building something solid. One Tuesday evening, I was downtown at a high-end furniture store. I was buying a new sectional for my condo. A place I bought with my own money. Decorated exactly how I wanted it. No beige pillows. No inspirational wall quotes. I was testing a charcoal leather sofa when I felt it. That prickle on the back of your neck. The sense that someone is watching you. I turned around. Standing near the entrance was Emily. She looked smaller. Worn down. That was the only way to describe it. She was wearing stretched-out yoga pants and a stained hoodie. Her hair was pulled back into a messy knot that looked more desperate than casual. She looked exhausted. Like the last 6 months had aged her years. She was holding a cheap iced coffee and staring at me like I was not real. I did not panic. I did not feel my heart race. I just felt uninterested. She hesitated. Then she walked toward me. The way she walked toward me told the whole story. Careful. Hesitant. Gone was that confident swagger she used to have, like she owned every room she stepped into. "Mike," she said. Her voice was quiet. Smaller than I remembered. "Emily," I replied, giving her a polite nod. "How are you?" She blinked. That caught her off guard. She had braced herself for anger. Or sadness. Maybe even hope. She was not prepared for calm. "I am okay," she said, but it was obvious she was lying. Her eyes moved over me. The jacket. The boots. The fact that I was leaning casually against a high-end sofa she could never have afforded on her own. "You look really good," she said. "Happy." "I am," I said. "I really am." She pressed her lips together. I could see her thinking, trying to find the right angle. "I heard about your promotion," she said. "Dave told me." "Congratulations." "Thanks," I said. "You used to tell me I worked too much and never relaxed." She flinched. "Mark, look," she said, stepping closer. "Can we talk?" "Just a few minutes?" "I tried texting you, but I blocked you," I said evenly. "I know," she said quickly. "I deserve that." She stepped closer again. Too close. She smelled like cheap coffee and stress. "I need you to hear this," she said. I messed up. Completely. I glanced at my watch. Not to make a point. I genuinely had somewhere to be. "I know," I said. "I heard. Ryan was a mistake," she said. "A huge one." She swallowed hard. "He treated me terribly. He used me. Took my money. I am sleeping on Amanda's couch because I could not afford the rent by myself." Her eyes filled with tears. "And every time he treated me badly," she said, "I thought about you. About how safe I felt with you. How calm things were." She reached toward my arm but stopped short. "I miss us," she said. "I miss my best friend. I know I destroyed your trust, but people change. I have changed." She nodded to herself like she was selling the idea. "We can start again. Slow. I will do the work. I promise." That was it. The speech she had practiced. The moment she thought would save her. I looked at her hand. Then her face. Then I remembered the hallway. The anniversary. The smell of his cologne. Her telling me I was insecure for wanting basic respect. "Emily," I said calmly, "do you remember what you said to me that morning?" She frowned. I said a lot of things. You said I would have understood if I trusted you. Her eyes lit up. Yes. And I know that was wrong. No, I said, cutting her off. You were right. She froze. What? If I had trusted you, I said, I would have been a fool. She stared at me. I trusted myself instead. I continued. And I understood exactly what I needed to do. I stepped back, creating space between us. I do not hate you, I said. I do not think about you enough to hate you. Her face crumpled. But we are not starting over, I said. We are not anything. You chose chaos. I chose peace. And I am not giving that up to clean up your mess. She shook her head, desperate. But the ring, she said. You bought a ring. You wanted to marry me. You cannot just shut that off. I did not shut it off, I said. You killed it. That morning, you looked me in the eye and chose him. The ring stopped meaning anything after that. I sold it, I added. Her eyes widened. It paid for part of the down payment on my condo, I said. So in a way, you helped me move forward. Just not with you. She looked around the store. The furniture. The space. The life she almost had. I need to go, I said. Lauren is waiting for me. We are making dinner. Lauren, she whispered. My girlfriend, I said. The word felt right. She trusts me, I said. And I trust her. It is peaceful. You should try that someday. I turned away. I did not wait. I did not look back. I walked toward the exit. Toward the evening air. Toward my bike. Toward a life that finally belonged to me. Behind me, the store went quiet. And the silence felt perfect.